there is no Inspector Gould. Okay, Gerald goes out, he meets a policeman and says, do you know this guy? And the guy says, no, there is no Inspector Gould. So we're going to get a little more clarity today about what's going on with this situation. Okay. I'm going to make certain of this. And Mrs. Burling, any volunteers? Thank you.
What are you going to do?
Ring up the Chief Constable, Colonel Roberts. Now, I still like this bit here, right? That he has this direct access. We talked at the start of the book about how he sees the police something that he kind of owns, that's his, not something that he's service to. He can just ring up the main guy, right? The Chief Constable, the Chief of Police. He can ring this guy up and just be like, hey, let's have a chat. So again, we have a direct access, which again is always the idea of a corruption of power. Okay?
Careful what you say, dear.
He's on the telephone. Of course. Bromley 5721. This is how you used to make a call, right? You'd have the operator and you pick up the phone and someone would be like, what number can I get you? Bromley 578-5721. I was going to do this anyhow. I've had my suspicions all along. Roberts, please. Mr. Arthur Burling here. Oh, Roberts. Burling. Sorry to ring you up so late. But can you tell me if an Inspector Gould has joined your staff lately? Gould. Goole. A new man. So he might say what he looks like. Tall guy. Funny looking nose. Blonde hair. I see. Yes. Well, that settles it. No, just a little argument we were having here. Good night. So notice here, right? So the idea is that Colonel Roberts must say, why? Like, why are you calling me about this? And he lies. Or you might say that he deflects. So the last thing he wants to say to the Chief of Police is, oh, apparently some girl died and we were responsible. Don't say anything, right? But even Mrs. Burling says here, be careful what you say, because they still think they might be in trouble. Mrs. B.
I felt it all the time.
Oh, sorry, I missed a bit, didn't I? Sorry. There's nobody... Good night. There's nobody even looks like the man who came here. That man definitely wasn't a police inspector at all. As Gerald says, we've been had, right? We've been tricked. We've been tricked by somebody. Somebody has tricked us.
I felt it all the time. He never talked like one. He never even looked like one.
This makes a difference, you know. In fact, it makes all the difference. I need a Sheila. Yes, thank you, sir.
I suppose we're all nice people now.
Right, so the idea is now she's being sarcastic. And this is really the central point of difference. So he says here, he's not real, right? So there is no inspector. And Burling says, that makes all the difference, right? It's all different now. Now what he's talking about, of course, is the idea that no one knows. No one knows what they've done. They are free. They've gotten away with their crimes and their illegal behaviours. And then Sheila says sarcastically, oh, I suppose we're all better people now. So for Sheila, it doesn't make any difference, right? As far as she's concerned, they are the same. If you've got nothing more sensible than that to say, Sheila, you better keep quiet. So he tries to go back to how things were. So we'll say that he tries to revert back. So he tries to treat his daughter like she's a little girl again, but he can't because she's changed, right? The experience of the inspector has changed her personality. She is no longer a naive little girl. She now is aware of what's happening in the world around her, right? There has been a change in character. Eric? Can I get an Eric? I can do it. Yes, thank you.
She's right though.
And you better keep quiet anyhow. If that had been a police inspector and he heard you confess...
Arthur, careful.
Yes, yes.
You see, Gerald, you don't happen to know the rest of our crimes Idiocies.
Yeah, idiocies. Yeah, it's like doing idiotic behaviours. Remember, Gerald doesn't know, right? Gerald was out of the house when Eric confessed to his crimes. So Bernie's like, well, you're the one who did the crime, right? You confessed. Then he interrupts and says, whoa, 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 be careful. And then Sheila undermines her dad and says, see, Gerald, you don't know the rest of our crimes and idiocies, right? So she's kind of like, if you like, she betrays her family by revealing to her fiance that her family are criminals, right? And remember that Eric is a criminal. He's stolen money, and of course he's a rapist, although in those days they wouldn't have cared hugely for that, but he has stolen money off people. I need Gerald. You want to read Gerald? Fine. That's all right, I don't want to. What do you make of this business? Was it a hoax? Please. Sure. Of course. Somebody put that fellow up to coming here and hoaxing us. So a hoax is like a trick, right? Believe it or not, there are people in this town who dislike me enough to do that. We ought to have seen through it from the first. In the ordinary way, I believe I would have done. But coming like that, bang on top of our little celebration, just when we were all feeling so pleased with ourselves, naturally took me by surprise. So, it's pretty arrogant here, right? He says, oh, yeah, normally I'd see through the hoax, but I was a bit distracted by the celebration. I wasn't on my top game, right? Normally I see straight through it.
You said, believe it or not, there are people in this town who dislike me.
Absolutely, right? So he has enemies, for sure. Which kind of hints, I suppose, at the fact that his business attitude has other enemies that he's created. Mr. Bennett.
I wish I'd been here when that man first arrived. I'd have asked him a few questions before I allowed him to ask us anything.
It's alright saying that now.
I was the only one of you who didn't give in to him. And now I say we must discuss this business quietly and sensibly, and decide if there's anything to be done about it.
Yeah, good. So this, of course, we're talking about here is the cover-up. So as far as they're concerned, the girl still died. So Eva Smith is dead, right? Eva Smith is dead and gone. Hello. Eva Smith is dead and gone, and there is now a cover-up that's going on, right? Can we cover this up? Can we cover over it? You're absolutely right, my dear. Already we've been discovered with one important fact, that the fellow was a fraud and we've been hoaxed. And that may not be the end of it by any means.
I'm sure it isn't.
You are, eh? Good. Eric, sit down.
I'm alright.
Alright. You're anything but alright. And you didn't stand there as if...
I do take...
No.
Yeah.
Pay attention, please. You didn't stand there as if...
As if what?
As if you got nothing to do with us. Just remember your own position, young man. If anybody's up to neck in this business, you are. And you better take some interest in it.
I do take some interest in it. I take too much, that's my trouble.
So there's an irony here, right? Because what he's arguing about Eric is that Eric is responsible. That Eric has to take responsibility for his actions. And of course, the irony is that he is doing the very, very opposite thing. He is saying that I'm not responsible for my actions, and that actually, if anything, we've all gotten away with it. We're all perfectly safe and fine. Right? Eric does take interest in it, right? So again, there's a sense here that Eric has also changed. That something has happened, that Eric has changed as well. Sheila.
Mine too.
Now listen, you two. If you're still feeling on edge, then the least you can do is keep quiet. Leave this to us. I'll admit that fellow's antics rattled us a bit, but we found him out. And all we have to do now is keep our heads. Now it's our turn. Okay? So again, there's an idea, like at the start, that these two kids, Eric and Sheila, need to be kept like children. Right? You keep quiet, we'll do all the work and sort it out, and you just have to do nothing at all. But again, the idea is that they are no longer children. right? So both Eric and Sheila, through this experience of Eva Smith, have both become adults. They've grown up. They've done the very thing that their parents are unable to do.
I'll turn to do what?
To behave sensibly, Sheila, which is more than you're doing.
So what's the use of talking about behaving responsibly? We're beginning to pretend now that nothing's really happened at all. And I can't see it like that. This girl's still dead, isn't she? Nobody brought her to life, have they?
That's just what I feel, Eric, and it's what they don't seem to understand.
Good. So again, here what we've got is a sense of unity. You remember right at the start of the play, these two fight and bicker and squabble like they're little children. Like they're little children. And now they have unity. Right? They have reached almost like a bit of a socialist state at this point because they are working together to try and address this issue. Eric.
Whoever that chap was, the fact remains that I did what I did, and Mother did what she did, and the rest of you did what you did to her. It's still the same rotten story whether it's been told to a police inspector or somebody else. According to you, I ought to feel a lot better. I stole some money. Gerald, you might as well know. I don't care. Let them know. The money's not the important thing. It's what happened to the girl, and what we all did to her that matters. And I still feel the same about it. And that's why I don't feel like sitting down and having a nice, cosy talk.
Very good. Right. So lots of interesting stuff here we can have a little look at. Right. So of course the idea is here, right? The fact remains that I did what I did, and Mother did what she did. I can underline all of this actually. And the rest of you did what you did. Right? Which is a nice little bit of repetition here, this idea of we did what we did, right? That the facts are the same, right? Whether it was one girl or many girls, the facts are completely the same, and that we all did what we did, right? It doesn't matter whether he was real or not, because we are all still responsible, right? He then says here, I stole some money, right? The money's not the important thing. Now, of course, that is very different from Mr. Burling, who only cares about money. So again, we're starting to see little changes in the generation that comes after the previous one. Sheila.
And Eric's absolutely right, and it's the best thing any one of us has said tonight. And it makes me feel a bit less ashamed of us. We're just beginning to pretend it all over again.
Yeah, very good. So again, points to this idea that there has been no change whatsoever, right? You're starting to pretend all over again. Look, for God's sake!
Arthur,
Well, my dear, they're so damn exasperating. They just won't try to understand our position or see the difference between a lot of stuff like this coming out in private and a downright public scandal.
Now I see the girl's dead, and we all have to kill her, and that's what matters.
Yeah, good. So again, it doesn't want you to miss the point of this, right? It repeats again and again and again and again the same kind of idea, right? What happens in private versus the public scandal. So his focus is on the reputation and the damage that can be done if this ever gets out, whereas Eric is talking about the girl itself. Okay, so the real victim of this. And I say, either stop shouting or get out. Some fathers I know would have kicked you out of the house anyhow by this time. So hold your tongue if you want to stay here.
I don't give a damn now whether I stay here or not.
You'll stay as long as you'll stay long enough to give me an account of that money you stole. Yes, and pay it back too. Good, right, before we turn over. So again, we're coming now into sort of quite open conflict at this point, right? We have his dad threatening, says if you want to stay as part of this house, you'll do as you'll say. Him kicking back and saying, I don't give a damn whether I stay here or not, right? And then being reminded that he owes this money, right? So he's in a state of being in debt that he can't necessarily leave at this point. Okay, it's another example of him having power over his son. Good. Turn over. Good.
But that won't bring Eva Smith back to life, will it?
Eric? Thank you, guys.
And it doesn't alter the fact that we've all helped to kill her.
Is it a fact?
Of course it is. You don't know the whole story, yeah?
I suppose you're going to prove now you didn't spend last summer keeping this girl instead of seeing me, eh?
I did keep a girl last summer. I've admitted it, and I'm sorry, Sheila.
Well, I must admit, you came out of it better than the rest of us. The inspector said that.
He wasn't an inspector.
Well, he inspected us all right. And don't let's start dodging and pretending now between us. You drove that girl to suicide.
Right, this is quite an interesting thing here, right? Because, again, what he's interested in here is the status. He says, that man was not an inspector. And he says, he inspected us all right. So, he says, it doesn't matter that he wasn't an inspector, right? He still inspected us. He still asked us the questions. He was here and did those things. It doesn't matter what his role was. What matters was his actions, right? So we've got a little idea here of what matters in society, right? Your position, so who you are, versus your behaviour. What's more important, who you are or how you behave? For Mr. Burling, it's who you are. I'm a judge. I'm on the board. For the kids, it's about your personality. Okay, it's another point of difference. Joe. Did we?
Did we? Who says so? Because I say there's no more real evidence we did than there was when that chap was a police inspector.
Of course there is.
No, there isn't. Look at it. A man comes here pretending to be a police officer. It's a hoax of some kind. Now, what does he do? Very artfully working on bits of information he's picked up here and there. He blasts us into confessing that we've all been mixed up in this girl's life, in one way or another.
And so we have.
But how do you know it's the same girl?
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see how that would work. Now, no, it wouldn't.
We all admitted it.
Alright, you all admitted something to do with the girl, but how do you know it's the same girl?
Right, so the question here is, does this matter? Right, genuinely. And the second question is, if it is loads of different girls, does that make it better or worse? What do you think? I don't.
The actions are the same.
The actions are the same, right?
Isn't it
So
worse?
You're going to multiple people.
potentially it makes it worse, right? I would argue that option one is that it doesn't matter. Option two is that it's even worse, right? It's not just one victim, there's 5 victims. But Gerald seems to think that it makes all the difference.
But didn't the inspectors were saying that it's only this bad because you've done all these things together? That's what makes it such a big thing. So if you're splitting up into little things, maybe Mr. Burling won't be as bad, come out as bad. or maybe
Yeah, well, exactly. Mr. Burling might go, well, I fired a girl and she didn't kill herself.
Yeah.
So it might let them off the hook a little bit.
But then maybe
Right.
someone like Eric, or maybe Gerald, more.
Possibly, yeah. But I think the point is that it doesn't matter. Gerald seems to be obsessed with the idea of, oh, what if it was different girls, right? He's missed the point. He's much more aligned with the parents. Okay. He looks around triumphantly at them as they puzzle this out. He turns to Burling.
Look here, Mr. Burling. You sack a girl called Eva Smith. You've forgotten, but he shows you a photo of her, and then you remember, right?
Yes, that's straightforward enough. But then what?
Well, then he happened to know that Sheila once had a girl sack from Melwood Shop. He tells her it's the same Eva Smith, and he shows her a photograph that she remembers.
Yes, the same photograph.
How do you know it's the same photograph? Did you see the one your father looked at?
No, I didn't.
And did he see the one the inspector showed you?
No, he didn't. I see what you mean.
We've got no proof it was the same photograph, and therefore no proof it was the same girl. Now take me. I never saw a photograph, remember? He called me out by suddenly announcing that this girl changed her name to Daisy Renton. I had myself away at once because I'd known a Daisy Renton.
And there wasn't the slightest proof that this Daisy Renton was really Eva Smith.
Exactly.
We've only his word for it, and with his word for it, that he was a police inspector, and we know he was lying. So he could have been lying all the time.
Exactly. He probably was. Now what happened after I left? I was upset because Eric had left the house, and this man said that if Eric didn't come back, he'd have to go and find him. Well, that made me feel worse still. And his manner was so severe, and he seemed so confident And quite suddenly, he said I'd seen Edith Smith only 2 weeks ago.
Those were his exact words.
And like a fool, I said yes, I had.
I don't see now why you did that. She didn't call herself Eva Smith when she came to see you at committee, did she?
No, of course she didn't, and I ought to have said so. But feeling so worried, when he suddenly turned on me with those questions, I answered more or less as he wanted me to answer.
But Mother, don't forget, he showed you a photograph of the girl before that, and you obviously recognised her.
Did anyone else see that photograph? Oh, no, he showed it only to me. But don't you see, there's still no proof it was really the same girl. He might have shown you the photograph of any girl who applied to the committee. How do you know she was either Eva Smith or Daisy Renton?
Jeb was dead right. He could have used a different photograph each time and we'd be none the wiser. We may have all been recognising different girls.
Exactly. Did he ask you to identify a photo, Eric?
No, he didn't need a photograph by the time he got round to me, but obviously it must have been the girl I knew who went round to see Mother.
Why must it?
She said that she had to have help because she wouldn't take any more stolen money, and the girl I knew had already told me that.
Even then, that may have been all nonsense.
I don't see much nonsense about it when a girl goes and kills herself. You may be getting yourself out nicely, but I can't. Nor can Mother. We all did her in all right.
Yeah, we did her in all right. So again, there's an idea which is like about the facts. So this is the tricky thing because all 5 of them still did the thing that they did, and yet they're trying to weasel the way out of it by saying that it wasn't exactly like it was, but they still did what they did. Don't be in such a hurry to put yourself into court. That interview with your mother could have been just as much a put-up job, like all this police inspector business, right? So now we're getting into the world of sort of conspiracy theory, like, was the girl who came in even pregnant? Right? Was it all fake? Was it all fake? Like all this police inspector business. The whole damn thing can have been a piece of bluff.
How can it? The girl's dead, isn't she?
But what girl? There were probably 4 or 5 different girls.
That doesn't matter to me. The one I know is dead.
Is she? How do we know she is?
That's right, you've got it. How do you know any girl killed herself today?
Now answer that.
But look, here, it all began with that.
That doesn't mean it's true.
As a matter of fact, it didn't begin with that. It began with this fellow announcing himself as a police inspector. And we now know that he wasn't. It's just somebody hoaxing us.
I see what you mean, but for all that, I wouldn't be too sure about that hoaxing part. He didn't look like a hoaxer to me.
Of course he didn't. Otherwise he'd have been wasting his time. He had to give an impressive performance.
It didn't deceive me.
Well, perhaps not. But look at it from his point of view. We're having a nice little celebration here and feeling rather pleased with ourselves. Now he has to work this trick on us. Well, the first thing he has to do is to give us such a shock that after that he can bluff us all the time. So he starts right off. A girl's died in the infirmary. She drank some strong disinfectant, died in agony. Right? Notice here though that he has remembered the words. Right? So something has gone in. Eric?
Alright, don't pile it on.
There you are, you see. Just repeating it shakes you a bit. And that's what he had to do. Shake us at once. And then start questioning us till we didn't know where we were. Oh, let's admit that. He took us all right. He had a laugh on us.
He could laugh his head off if I knew it really was all a hoax.
I'm convinced it is. No police inquiry. No one girl that all this happened to. No scandal.
And no suicide? We can settle that at once.
How?
By calling up the infirmary. Either there's a dead girl there, or there isn't.
Now again, the question I'm going to ask you again is does it matter? Right? Does it matter? So let's say there's no dead girl. They still did the things that they did. Does somebody have to die for it to be important? Right? Why do we always wait for some people to die if we make changes? Does it matter? It would look a bit queer, wouldn't it, ringing up this time of night?
I don't mind doing it. Mind you, they may have given mind you, they may have a girl there who committed suicide, and that may have given this fellow the idea of coming and fighting us. And even if there is, we've no way of knowing if it's the one who we talked about tonight.
So
If there isn't, then obviously that's the final and definitive proof that the whole thing is a setup. And now we'll see.
yeah, so he rings up the infirmary, right? He rings up the infirmary. The others watch tensely. Right, you're on the phone now, Gerald.
Bromley 8986. Is that the infirmary? This is Mr. Gerald Croft of Crofts Limited. Yes. We're rather worried about one of our employees. Have you had a girl brought in this afternoon who committed suicide by drinking disinfectant? Or any suicide? Yes, I'll wait. Yes? You're certain of that? I see. Well, thank you very much. Good night. No girl has died in there today. No girl has been brought in after drinking disinfectant. They haven't had a suicide in months.
Right, so this is a big twist, right? So there is no dead girl, right? There is no dead girl. There may have been no Eva. Doesn't exist. Never happened. There you are. Proof positively. The whole story is just a lot of moonshine. Nothing but an elaborate sell. Whew. No one likes to be sold as badly as that. But for all that, what a relief. Gerald, a drink?
Thanks. I think I could just do one now.
So could I. And I must say, Gerald, you've argued this very cleverly, and I'm most grateful.
Well, you see, while I was out for a walk, I had time to cool off and think things out a little.
Yes, he didn't have you on a run as he did the rest of us. I'll admit now he gave me a bit of a scare at the time, but I had a special reason for not wanting any public scandal just now. Well, here's to us. Come on, Sheila, don't look like that. All over now. So again, he thinks that he can just go back to how things were. But Sheila clearly is not having any of it, and she's just sat there like this while all the others are talking all this time. Sheila.
The worst part is, but you're forgetting one thing. I still can't forget. Everything we said had happened really had happened. If it didn't end tragically, then that's lucky for us, but it might have done.
Yeah, good. Now this to me, here, is kind of the key bit. Because the point is that you don't need someone to die to hurt another person. So the point she makes is that they still did wrong. And if you wait for someone to die before you change your ways, then somebody dies. So why not make the change now, right? Well, I always think, when I read this, I always think about the thing that happened with the Grenfell fire. You know the Grenfell fire? Where all those people died in that tower block. And after that, they then changed all the cladding, right? If you change it before the people die, then no one has to die. But we always wait for the tragedy, right? We always wait for this before we do anything. So the part message is, let's make the change now. We don't wait until we're forced to do it. Let's do it right now. The whole thing's different now. Come, you can see that, can't you? You all helped kill her. And I wish you could have seen the look on your faces. So he's almost mocking it now, right? When he said that. The artful devil knew all the time nobody had died. And the whole story was bunkum. Oh, he was clever. But he who laughs last, whatever it is. Go into bed, young woman.
I want to get out of this. It frightens me the way you talk.
Yeah. Okay. It frightens me the way that you talk. Okay. So this is now a broken situation. Nonsense! You'll have a good laugh over it yet. Fellow comes here and starts inventing.
He didn't invent what each of us admitted to doing, did he?
Well, what if he didn't? Look, you better ask Gerald for that ring you gave back to him, hadn't you? Then you'll feel better.
You're pretending everything just as it was before.
Yeah. So he's trying to go back to the old equilibrium, right? The old balance. Sheila married to Gerald, Crofts and Burnings Limited, working together. But it doesn't work. Eric?
I'm not.
No, but these others are.
Well, isn't it? We've been had, that's all.
So nothing really happened. So there's nothing to be social, nothing to learn. We can all go on behaving just as we did.
Yeah. Right, notice this, right? Bit of repetition. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Right? So that's it then, is it? We just ignore everything. Right? We just ignore that entire experience. We learn nothing from it whatsoever. Mrs. B?
Oh, well, why shouldn't we?
I tell you, whoever that inspector was, it was anything but a joke. You knew it then, you began to learn something, now you stopped. You're ready to go on in the same old way.
Yeah, good. So again, it says you started to learn something and then you stopped, right? You said I'd give thousands and thousands to change what happened, and you've just stopped. You've just got to carry on as you were before. The whole thing was pointless. And you're not, eh?
No, because I remember what he said, how he looked, and what he made me feel. Fire, blood and anguish. And it frightens me the way you talk, and I can't listen to any more.
Yeah, so again, she is now, if you like, she has now become the inspector, right? She has assumed his words. Right? I remember what he said, I remember how he looked, and what he made me feel. Okay? There again, there has been a sense of development with her. He affected me. Well, go to bed then, and don't stand there being hysterical. Hysterical again means the idea of being sort of like manic. Mr. Bennett?
Oh, she's overtired. In the morning, she'll be as amused as we are.
Okay, this is something that you say about children, right? Being overtired. So again, they're not respecting her change.
Everything's alright now, Sheila. What about this rain?
No, not yet. It's too soon, I must say.
Now look at the pair of them. The famous younger generation who know it all. And they can't even take a joke. The telephone rings sharply. A moment's complete silence. Burling goes to answer it. Yes? Mr. Burling speaking. What? Here? It's obvious the other person has rung off. He puts the telephone down slowly and looks in a panic-stricken fashion at the others. That was the police. A girl has just died on her way to the infirmary after swallowing some strong disinfectant. And the police inspector's on his way here to ask some questions. They stare guiltily and dumbfounded. The curtain falls slowly. Okay, so now obviously before we stop, this is very mysterious. The idea, of course, is that the events were true after all, and the Inspector Gould has almost sort of predicted them, right? He's preempted them happening. The question you have to think about is this: when this police inspector arrives, right, how will they behave? Will we see the exact same thing happen? Or will something different happen? Okay? It's a very, very confusing ending.
Oh, so I was going back to when Jarrah said about the different girls. But then when Eva Smith came in, she said she was Mrs. Barling
Yeah.
in the Eric.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that indicate they were the same person?
Yeah, well, it indicates that there is a girl that Eric was with. It doesn't mean it was the same either.
No, not the same, but like Eric and Mrs. Barling had the same woman.
It suggests it, yeah. It suggests it, for sure.